What's up everyone? Welcome back and thanks for checking out today's video on the EvolvedJeepin channel. On this video, we're actually going to be taking a look at another digital rear view mirror dashcam system. If you've been following along on my channel, you would actually know that I previously installed one of these systems on my Jeep, and that was the Wolfbox G840S. Overall, that unit was a really good system. It had a lot of built-in features and it worked perfectly fine for my need. But it did have a few minor issues, and I did mention all those issues in the video that I did where I showed the installation, the features, and gave my review of that product. It should be mentioned that none of the issues that I mentioned in that video were actually big enough issues that would justify me wanting to go ahead and replace that unit. But recently I received a DM on my Instagram channel from a brand called Arpha, who was inquiring with me to see if I wanted to test out one of their units and to create some video content for them. So at first I was a little unsure if I actually wanted to go ahead and acquire a unit from them, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go ahead and do that installation steps all again. And I also didn't know if I needed to, because the Wolfbox one was good enough. Yes, it did have a few minor issues, but there were definitely things that I could deal with and would not affect me that much. But there are two reasons I decided to go ahead and acquire this unit. And the first one has to do with an issue that I have not mentioned on the channel before. So when I was going through the Arpha website, I realized that they had a 10-inch wide mirror available. And one of the things I discovered after posting my original video with the Wolfbox one is that on a Jeep Wrangler, a 12-inch mirror is a little bit of an issue. The issue occurs when you go to pull down the sun visor will actually contact the mirror. So what you have to do is you have to slide the mirror to one way, then put the visor down, and then slide the mirror back. Not that big of a deal. Again, one of those minor issues, especially for myself who doesn't use their sun visor that much. It was only something I have to deal with here and there. So because Arpha did have the 10-inch wide mirror available, I figured I'd go ahead and acquire that to see if a 10-inch wide mirror is a better fit for a Jeep JL or JT rather than a 12-inch wide. I also figured that maybe there might be some added features from this brand that might be a lot better than some of the other issues I had with the Wolfbox one. So the second reason I decided to go ahead and acquire this unit so I can create some video content is because I know these type of systems are becoming more and more popular, and there's so many brands online and there's limited amount of content that helps you determine which one to purchase. So I figured if I acquire this and I create a video showing its install and maybe a comparison video, that will help fellow Jeepers determine which one they want to purchase for their Jeep. So the unit that I had Arpha send us is the E22 10-inch streaming video mirror. This unit goes for $129.99, and of course, I'll put a link below if you want to go check it out for yourself. What we're going to be doing with this unit is actually creating two separate videos. The first video is going to be our regular installation video where we'll show the steps it takes to install this. We'll go through all its features and functionality, and I'll give my overall thoughts and opinions. The second video that we're going to do is a comparison video between the Arpha E22 and the Wolfbox G840S. But that comparison video is going to be a separate video, which will come. Today is all about the Arpha E22, which I have actually already installed on my Jeep. Don't worry, we're going to show you the steps it takes to install it, and I'll show you those in a few seconds. But before that, let's take a look at what comes in this box and what are all the parts and accessories that are included with this system.
The E22 comes in a matte box with gold printed graphics. When you open up the box, you'll see the mirror. The mirror has a blue screen protector on it to keep it protected. On the bottom, you have the power cord. On the top, you have the cord input locations. And on the back, you have a slide-out camera. The first accessory that comes with is an anti-glare screen protector. Then you have your rear camera with enough cord to get to the back. Then you have your 12-volt DC power adapter. Then you have two sizes of elastic bands. Then you have your trim removal tool and your cord anchors, and a small microfiber towel.
As you can see, this is a complete kit and includes all the parts you need to install it. As for the installation, we're actually going to be showing you two methods on how to install it. The first method is going to be the intended method of installation, which is the non-permanent approach, where you'll simply be taking the new mirror and attaching it to your stock one, and then run your cords and then plug it into your 12-volt DC outlet. The next approach is going to be my custom approach, which is a more permanent approach that gives a more OEM finish. This is going to include removing your stock mirror and running permanent wire. This is going to include removing your stock mirror and replacing it with a new one, and running an actual wiring harness to your vehicle instead of the plug into the 12-volt DC outlet. What we're going to do first is show you the intended installation process, which is the non-permanent one, where we'll show you how to install the mirror onto the stock mirror. We'll show you how to run the cords on a Jeep JL in throughout the dash, and then we'll show you how to install the camera. So let's go take a look at that, and then I'll show you guys the custom approach, or what we did for the custom approach. As you can see, the intended installation steps are very easy to do and are not that complicated. And in the end, it leaves you with a non-permanent installation, which has its pluses. First, if you don't end up liking the mirror, you can simply remove it without any major disassembly. And then if you get a new vehicle, you can easily remove it from your old one and put in your new one. For myself, the biggest con about this is the fact that it doesn't look that professional or OEM. So for myself, I needed to figure out some custom approach for installation that would give me a higher end appearance and look like it was meant to be part of the vehicle. For the installation, everything's pretty much the same as what I just showed you, but there's just two minor differences. First has to do with the wiring. So when you're running the wires through the dash and through the upper components, the only difference is you're not going to be running a 12-volt DC plug wire. Instead, you're going to be running a hard wiring kit. Unfortunately, Arpha does not offer their own hard wiring kit, so you actually have to purchase one off Amazon, and you just have to make sure it's the mini USB one so that it plugs into the top of the mirror. I am not going to show you the steps to do that installation. If you want to see how to do it, you can take a look at my Wolfbox one, where I kind of showed how to run the wires, but it's fairly straightforward. All you have to do is run them through the dash and into the engine bay. The next part that's different has to do with the actual mirror. So as you can see, instead of putting it onto the stock mirror, we've removed the mirror altogether and replaced it with this new digital mirror. So this is a fully custom task because this mirror is not designed to work with any brackets. You can't just simply unscrew the old tabs and screw on a new bracket. You actually have to glue this one on. So what I had to do was first trim off the old tabs that hold the elastic on.
Once all 4 tabs are removed, next I take the bracket that I purchased off Amazon, which as you can see does not fit on the back of the mirror. So I actually have to trim the bracket down so it fits between the 2 ridges that are on the back of the mirror. Once I have that trimmed, I go ahead and finish the edges. Once it's to size, I then apply JB Weld glue. And then secure it to the back of the mirror in place and zip tie it in place while it dries. Once it's dry, I then disconnect the zip ties and secure the universal ball joint mount on the back of the bracket. Next, I remove the stock mirror and install the new mirror.
So everything about that installation is fairly the same. Besides those 2 components, you're still going to run the camera wire to the back with the camera. The only difference is the hard wiring kit and the installation of the mirror. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the features and functionalities that this has to offer, and then we'll regroup to talk about my likes and dislikes about this system. By swiping left and right, you can change which camera you see on the screen. You can also go to the dual setting where you see both cameras at the same time. If you go back to the front or the rear, you can also adjust the angle of the camera with the arrows on the left. The first button that you have is a picture button. When you press it, it'll take a photo of both the rear and the back camera at the same time. Then you have your protection setting where if you engage this, it will protect anything that's being recorded. You also have the ability to mute the microphone on the system so that it will not record any audio. Then in the middle, you have your recording option, which gives you the ability to turn on and off the recording. Right now it's in the on position, and you can tell that by the time that's running at the top. If you press it, it'll turn it off and it will be red. If you press it again, it'll turn it on. Next, you have your Wi-Fi button. If you press that, it will turn on the Wi-Fi for the mirror. which gives you the ability to connect the mirror to your phone to access all the photos through the phone app. You can also access all the photos in the mirror by pressing this button, which takes you to a bunch of different settings in here. If you click on this area, you can see all the videos that are being played here. You can also play the images and videos here. You also have the ability to delete things from here. So say I wanted to delete this image, I press the delete button, and you can decide if I want to delete all the images or just delete the one. So I'm just going to delete the one right here. The last button that you have is for settings. In here, there are 3 different tabs. You have general, video, and system. In the general, you have the ability to turn on and off the parking monitor. You have the ability to turn on and off the video stamp. You can set the date and time and the time zone. You can also set the setting or the sensitivity of the G sensor, so that is basically what happens when your vehicle gets hit or something, or shakes, the camera will decide to record. You also have the ability to turn on and off a screensaver, adjust the beep sound, change speed units, and if you scroll down, there's a few more options, which include changing the frequency, turning on or off parking guidelines, which can also be triggered by wiring up the red sensor wire that comes in the wire harness to the reverse light. That will turn on the guidelines for reversing when you go into reverse. You have the ability to flip your rear camera. So say you mount your camera upside down, you can flip that image so your image is correct on the screen. Then you can set your format reminding time and then turn on or off your rear video mirror. What this will do, if for some reason a car is on your left but is showing up on the right on the mirror, you can turn this on or off to flip that so the car that's on the left is still on the left on the mirror. In the video section, you can change the resolution, you can turn on and off the WDR camera, you can adjust the looping recording time, and you can decide whether you want the recordings to be done in time-lapse or in regular mode. In the system section, you have the ability to change the language. You can format your card in this area. You can look at the version of your settings. You can look at the GPS information, and of course, you can reset these settings. Hopefully that gave you a good understanding of all the features and functionalities that are built into this mirror. This mirror also has an app which gives you the ability to access your photos and videos through your phone instead of having to remove the micro SD card and plug it into your computer. This is definitely an added feature that gives this a lot of value. What we're going to do now is we're going to go take a look at the video quality and the mirror quality while driving around a little bit. So we'll take a look at it during the day, and then we'll take a look at it at night, and then we'll regroup to talk about my overall thoughts and opinions about this product. So it's actually been a couple days since the last part of this video, and we took a couple days because I really wanted to test the system out a little bit further before I gave my overall thoughts and opinions. The last part that we were showing in this video was the image and video quality of this system in both the daytime and the nighttime. As you can see, in the daytime, the video quality and the image quality are really good. I actually think they might be a little bit better than the Wolfbox one, but I won't know for sure until we do that comparison video. For the nighttime, unfortunately, this system still has that headlight flare effect that occurs. It seems to not happen when you're in the city and there's enough ambient light, but as soon as you get into a dark environment, the headlight flare is so unbearable that you can't even see anything out the back of the image. I'm not sure if that's because of this system and the way they're designed, or whether it's because of the quality of the system. You know, this isn't the highest quality system out there, so maybe the higher quality ones can handle that effect a little bit better, but ones like this just aren't built for that. And then there's also the reason of maybe it's because of where my camera is positioned. I put it inside of my window and possibly that is causing the flare. Not really sure, but it is something I can deal with because it was occurring with the Wolfbox one. I was hoping this one would have fixed it, but unfortunately it didn't. At this time, we're going to discuss our overall thoughts and opinions about the system and our likes and dislikes. Overall, I think this system is a pretty good system and it has great value. It is not one of the top of the line systems out there, and it does have a few minor issues, but nothing that can't be dealt with. Some of the likes I have about this system include its ease of installation. The intended installation steps are really easy to do and is designed to work on any vehicle. You also have the installation option to customize it a little bit by adding a bracket to make it look more OEM. The next like I have has to do with its functionality. The system is really easy to use and there's nothing too complicated. The only thing I wanted to mention is one of the things that was going to be one of my dislikes was the fact that the system did not have a brightness adjuster. But I actually was able to find this. It was a little tricky to do, and what you had to do was actually click the top of the screen, and then there will be a little white bar that you can actually drag from left to right to adjust the brightness. I would have liked that this had been a little bit more visible. For myself, it was a little hard to find at first, but once I did find it, I was glad that it was there because it gives me the ability to change the setting for different situations. The next like that I have about the system is the fact that it's a 10-inch wide. And for anybody who has a Jeep Wrangler JL or a Jeep Gladiator JT, I highly recommend a 10-inch wide mirror versus a 12-inch one, because a 10-inch will give you the ability to actually lower your sun visor without contacting the mirror. As for dislikes, I actually have two major dislikes about this system, and the first one has to do with the anti-glare screen protector film. It is great that they included this screen protector with the system, but I'm just unsure why they didn't just make this screen anti-glare instead of having a film that you have to apply. And the reason I don't like this is because we all know when you're applying a film on any device, it never ends up perfect. There's always an air bubble or a piece of hair or dirt that gets in behind it, and it just never ends up being a perfect installation. For myself, that's what happened when I installed it. Hopefully I can maybe get another screen protector and try it again. But for now, I got to deal with that little piece of hair that's stuck in behind. The next issue I have has to do with the image quality at night. As you saw, the camera in the system does not have the ability to handle direct headlights, and it causes massive flaring on the screen. I'm not sure if this is because this is not a top of the line kit, so the camera just isn't built to handle the headlights, or if it's just a limitation of these types of kit. Maybe in the future, I'll go ahead and buy one of the 4K systems that have better cameras, and maybe we'll discover that it is just a camera. But for now, I have to assume that it's just a downfall to these types of systems and the way they work. So guys, at this point, I am going to wrap this video up. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it very informative. I hope you now have a good understanding of what the Arpha E22 has to offer and how to install it in the two options that I've shown. I do want to thank Arpha for sending me this product, as I probably would have not gone ahead and purchased another one of these systems. But by doing this, I was able to discover that a 10-inch wide mirror is the size that you should be buying for a Jeep JL or a Jeep JT. And bigger is not always better in this case. I also would never have known that there are other brands out there that are selling high quality mirrors that are as good as some of the other brands that are just spending a little bit more on marketing. I do look forward to doing my comparison video to show how the Arpha E22 does against the Wolfbox G840S. So that will be on a separate video, and I look forward to seeing how those two do side by side. As usual, guys, I'll put all the links below for all the items that I used in this video, so that if you are looking to purchase this item and install it in either of the methods I showed, you will be able to acquire all the things you need. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below and I'll do the best to answer them. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And at this point, guys, please make sure to keep evolving, and we'll see you guys on the next video.